Hey guys, this is Blake. This is probably going to be the last time you see me at this location. I'm moving, so this is going to be the last video probably that I'll upload in this room. I have two movies I'm going to review today, though. The first one, G.I Samurai. The reason why I don't give it its own episode is because it's not really a martial arts movie, even though it does have some great martial arts in it. The film stars Sonny Chiba as a lieutenant of a squadron of troops, and they're transported somehow or teleported back into the Warring States period of Japan. So it's pretty much a present meets past type of thing. Usually these types of movies don't work, as they always have to overdraw the differences between the different times and cultures. Like, for example, if you watch Avatar, they always have to make humans look so fucking stupid. You know, certain things that you just wouldn't do when you're in a foreign culture. Or like The Challenge with Toshiro Mifune and Scott Glenn. White people are always really idiotic in culture cross films. But with this one, it's obviously Japanese meeting other Japanese people. They don't really deal with the differences too much. Anyway, why I like the film a lot is in its action sequences. The director is a master when it comes to framing. I've probably explained this before, but framing is just when you, it's how you position the camera and what you're going to get in a single shot. So staging is very important in that too. What amazes me is not just that there's a lot of explosions, a lot of gun battles, a lot of action scenes. It's how much they can catch within a single shot. You'll have a scene, for example, a tank, some jeeps, a helicopter, and horses all together going forward, but in the same shot. Shot like this for my video is right now. So you're seeing, it's not like an aerial shot or anything. You're seeing like this, but imagine a tank, a helicopter, a bunch of horses, and jeeps all in one single shot. And it looks great. The action scenes when they use this, it's just amazing. You'll have a guy firing off a bazooka. You'll see the bazooka hit a bunch of samurai dudes. You'll see the helicopter flying around in the background shooting about a bunch of people. You'll see the tank firing at whoever. Jeeps driving around, people firing, and samurai guys slashing at each other. All in a single shot. And it is brilliant. The action scenes are so successful that it makes the film's failures look that much more monumental. Okay, the first problem is the pacing. You almost have to get used to this kind of thing when you're watching samurai films, because most samurai films aren't action-packed. And this one, even though it has like a 30-minute action scene near the end, with a lot of other action scenes peppered throughout, it does have a lot of more dramatic moments and a lot of slower moments. But my problem is that certain scenes just seem to go on for too long. You'll have a guy sitting around, just looking around, and he just does nothing for a few seconds, too long. And, but once again, with samurai films, you almost have to expect that. What I could not forgive, however, is the score. Oh my god, this has to be the worst score I've ever seen in a samurai film. For one, there's these cheesy vocals, and they just feel so out of place. They're so distracting, they take you out of the experience, but they make some scenes really unintentionally funny. Like, there's this whole montage sequence between Sonny Chiba's character and the main samurai guy he befriends. And, you know, they're just bonding. But what's weird is when they play this music, it really makes the scene seem that much more homoerotic. And it already is kind of homoerotic. But the score makes you wonder if they're going to start kissing or something. It's just really awkward. Other scenes where they wouldn't have the vocals, but the music is too upbeat. You'll have sequences with a bunch of rogue soldiers pillaging and raping a bunch of people with this surprisingly upbeat music playing in the background. And it's not cleverly upbeat either. It's, for example, if you're familiar with Ruggero Deodato's films, I think that's how you pronounce his name, he has some very ironic music in his movies, where you'll have a scene of a girl getting raped, killed, and eaten, while the surprisingly upbeat sounding music plays in the background. But that music at least is kind of haunting, and the upbeat parts make it seem even more haunting. This one, it felt weird. It just didn't work. So I'd recommend that all samurai film fans check it out, though, just because the action scenes are so freaking awesome. I did a written review. You can check the link from that in my description. But now let's move on to The Magic Blade. The Magic Blade stars T. Lung and I think his name's Lo Lie or something like that. They're two rival swordsmen who have to team up to fight a like a bigger, more powerful sword master lord type guy. You know how in all those movies there's always the emperor swordsman, as I always call them, the guys with a lot of money, a lot of assassins under the command, and they're trying to take over the martial arts world. In this case, he's trying to get this weapon called the peacock dart. Sounds lame, but it's pretty much like a grenade. The problem with the magic blade is I think a lot of people are just going to look at it as another kung fu film, because it does look on its face value like another kung fu film. You have boring lead characters, confused and contrived plot, fight scenes that are good, but they're nothing spectacular for the time, and what else do they? Awkward editing. The sets all look familiar. But what you'll overlook is that the film is surprisingly sophisticated in its delivery of all this. The sets are probably the most impressive aspect because they look surprisingly grand for a kung fu film. Kung fu films obviously always had low budgets, and this one probably did too, but it looks larger in scale than most kung fu films have. And the camera work really amplifies that. There's a lot of aerial shots, a lot of unique camera work. There's a lot of unique camera work that really adds to the fight scenes, adds to the drama, and makes everything seem much more grand than it probably was. The fight scenes, like I said, they're good. They're all sword battles, but they were surprisingly complex for the time. The problem with all kung fu films from the 70s is that they just don't look as great as they do compared to modern day kung fu films. So all in all, I'd say if you're into kung fu films, you should definitely give The Magic Blade a look. Besides its sophisticated technical wizardry, it also has a lot of creative sequences, like this human chess game, some granny character who... some devil granny character who actually boils people alive. It adds sort of its own horror touch to it. And there's a lot of atmosphere, a lot of mood, and a lot of really interesting supporting characters. The main characters, incidentally, are probably the most boring, but the supporting cast is really interesting. And I also did a written review of that, so you could also check the link in my description there. So at least with this episode, I'd say if you're into samurai films, check out G.I Samurai, and if you're into kung fu films, definitely check out The Magic Blade. That is all, and I'll see you later. I'm really going to miss this room.
可能没有你故乡的那么美，所以你10年来一个人一把刀走遍天涯去找那个姑娘。
燕南飞，快把面具拿下来吧。